Hello? Hi there. Hi. And welcome to the 11th episode of the Kamen Rider Spirit Podcast.
I like how you X'd out the sun. You're like 11.
Yeah, it's how I do every one of the title cards. It's great.
Do you really cross them out? And
Yes,
then
I do every single one I cross out. Anyways. Hi, welcome. This is the 11th episode, and I'm really sorry that the other ones have taken so long to get out. But, this is the first episode that we're doing live, so people can come in and talk to us and give us information if we need it.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, we should have done this earlier, but that's okay.
We should have, maybe, but technically we always have, because it's like...
Whoops.
Also,
I
can hear
forgot
myself.
to mute yourself on this. There we go. Sorry, my bad.
Good
That was
job.
my bad. I was like, wait, I could hear music and echoing. Oh, this is wrong.
We're just great here. Anyways, this was the first time that we've done it with an audience, but I always kind of do the podcast live, because that's how I record things, I suppose.
Wait, you do it live and you don't tell me this all the time?
Yep, every single time.
What? Oh my god, my life is a lie.
It's how I deal out things. I just deal out lies to everyone.
Live stream it every time without me knowing?
Yeah, that's how I record things. This is how it works.
You're awful.
I'm
Not
great.
really.
But we are going to be talking about episode 32 and 33 of Kamen Rider Wizard this time. Now, this is hot off of the whole Kamen Rider Wizard upgrade arc and everything. So, of course, due to tradition and everything, it's a silly set of episodes. I mean, it's not straight up silly, but it's much sillier than normal, I suppose. So starting with episode 32 in this case, Nito failing at doing any kind of grilling at all, and just, he's trying to make kebabs and everything, and it's not really working out well. He ends up meeting an old friend of his from high school, Tsuchiya, who is actually living in the park that Nito is camping at the moment. Medusa, who is disobeying Gremlin's orders and sending a bunch of mooks to go after a bunch of gates that she is seeing here and there, is stopped by Haruto, and Gremlin, after finding her again, scolds her for doing, well, her job. Gremlin is still a shit.
Whatever, I still like him.
Okay, she say so. Needle's friend shows him this shack that he's been living in at the moment, and you see that he has a huge collection of collector's guitars, just ones that are signed by a bunch of famous guitarists all over the place. Ones that aren't even made anymore, even. And
Are you making that up? Did he say they weren't made anymore?
well, he might have been making it up, but it could have been one of those things where, if somebody you know says your dad works at Nintendo and he knows all this sort of stuff and he's got all this exclusive stuff and he's already got the Xbox 765 and you can't come over and see it because you can't. It's super secret.
My dad works at Nintendo, and I know that for a fact that the new Pokemon, there's gonna be new 3 different types, and there's gonna be Mew 7. Actually, there's Mew 3, but what thing, sort of, whatever.
Yeah. Either way, everybody had that one kid in their life at some point.
Yep.
But the thing is that Sushi has used pretty much every cent he has to buy these guitars, but he has a plan to get them back. Well, get more money, at least. And that's through an advertisement of a get-rich-quick scheme. Wonderful. Shunpei sees the same thing, but is scared out of it by Haruto and Kiyomi doing their best impersonation of the devil. The job offer is run by this really creepy-ass dude who, after 3 guys, including Tsuchi, speak up in the interview, give them jobs without interviewing any of the other people, and then glances at the weird mirrors behind him for some reason. And that would be because Medusa and Gremlin are behind them, and Medusa is pointing out all the gates that happen to be in the room. Seems this is a big plot to get to the gates in the first place. It's
okay.
I guess Gremlin thought it was a good idea, and honestly it kind of is, to just pool all the gates that they possibly can into one place and then make them all despair at once.
I think that was a good plan on his part, trying to despair gates, because like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Is that the phrase?
I guess,
Right.
but it was more like a flock of birds with a single
'cause
pebble, I suppose.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Medusa, I didn't like the idea. I think it was part of because she was like, is really like not happy with like Gremlin being like above her at the moment. So I think she's like not liking like this whole plan, even though it seems kind of efficient.
Yeah, I think it was mostly because she really doesn't like Gremlin. I mean, she has good reasons to not like him. He's a huge shit, but...
That's true. But didn't you think Wiseman would have gotten mad or something?
Well...
Just not care.
I mean, all Wiseman really cares about is getting more phantoms and everything. If he's able to do it in a way that's efficient, then who really cares, I guess.
No, I know that. I'm sure he doesn't care. No, I'm pretty sure he likes the, like, Gremlin's idea of multiple gates and stuff like that, but, like, wouldn't he get mad at, Medusa for kind of, like, not wanting to go along with it, and, like, well, later you explain what happens, but yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but...
Yeah, the thing that happens, you know,
the whole thing. But... anyways... the whole thing that is going on at the moment is, that they have to have this job, which is all of them just sitting there and doing nothing for hours on end, which is honestly my kind of job. Maybe I'm just not getting any jobs because I'm not a gate or something.
Well, I think, like, most jobs, like, my job is kind of like that, except I have a computer, but anyway. But, yeah.
But they are literally just doing nothing. They're just sitting there and hoping for something to happen.
That seems like an ideal job, kind of, but, like, I think some people would go crazy, like, just doing nothing.
Oh, definitely. I'm pretty sure that, they were all going crazy, actually, because they were just kind of... At one point, Sushi was talking to his pencil.
I don't remember the part.
Oh yeah, he was saying how, like, his pencil was suddenly Mr. Eraser and that he was going to do some heavy writing today or something. It was really... They all kind of went a little stir-crazy.
I haven't seen that episode in, like, a couple weeks, you know? I just remember them doing, like, weird things, like, walking around the room and, like, you know, laying their head on their desk and like moving around and I don't know. I just remember doing weird things. I just don't remember specifically what's going on. I definitely did not remember the pencil talking part.
But after hours of doing nothing, they get their money and everything, and they get so much money from the first day of work that Sushi is able to rent a stand-up sushi chef. And Nito, where he's at sushi, yeah, too close to each other. Sushi has maybe changed a lot in the past few years, and a lot for the worse at this point. The gang, after Nito tells them all about how it seems a little bit too suspicious, go to check out the building that the job is happening at, where they have gotten another 3 gates in there, and have decided that it is definitely something to do with the phantoms that are messing everything up lately, and go to snoop inside the building. Just in time for them to leave the building and go to another one completely for some reason. While they're in the actual building itself, they meet up with Medusa, who is super done with Gremlin at the moment.
200% done with Gremlin.
300% done. And tells them where they can find the Phantom of the Week. In this case, it's the weird-ass guy that was from earlier, who's apparently just floating around.
Do we know what the monster is of this week? Like, because it's technically, like, it's a literal monster of the week, like monster from mythology, or...
Oh, yes. He is Hobgoblin.
Oh!
And unlike the other ones so far, up to this point, that I've done a little research on, he doesn't really have any similarities to the Hobgoblin of mythology. Even the one for next week has some similarities, but he doesn't really have that many similarities at all. Thing about Hobgoblin is that he is really floaty and seems to attack slow and also fast at the same time. Like, he moves slow, but they don't seem to be able to keep up with him. And none of that really seems to tie into the Hobgoblin mythology in any way possible.
Really? Let's see. It's... Because I remember the main thing about Hobgoblin is... well, you get to it later, but he has, like, he deals with luck and, like, following possession, sort of? It's hard to say.
A Hobgoblin is more, in fact, it's weird, in mythology, he's actually supposed to be a very, nice, but kind of troublesome, kind of monster, and is a lot like normal, goblins in that they're just kind of...
Nice? That's so
nice
weird.
And not really... They're like nice and not trolls. They're just kind of goblins, I guess.
I think maybe the similarities... Like, it's obviously a bad... You know, Hobgoblin's not good in this case, but I think, like the thing is, like, you know how, like, you said Hobgoblins give? Kind of, you know?
I guess. They don't really give anything. They just kind of aren't awful people, I guess.
Well, okay, but, like, they do small deeds, right? Or something you said? Did you say they...
No. But, like, they're just supposed to be, I don't know, they just kind of keep to themselves, I believe.
Well, no, because I'm looking it up, and it says, like, they sometimes do small deeds for humans when they're sleeping. And, like small chores and stuff like that. And I guess it's, like, a long shot, but, like, you know how, like, he deals with luck, so he gives them luck? I guess that's, like, the only, like, real correlation between, like, Hobgoblin from, like, mythology versus this Hobgoblin.
I suppose so.
I mean, it's a stretch, but it's like a little bit of a correlation right there too, you know.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Um, the thing. Oh, Eric's in the chat. Hi, Eric. Yeah. He was late for the whole thing. He couldn't join us this time, which is unfortunate because this is a Nito episode.
I know, he's like, no, my husband, though. Okay, let's see. Actually, I'm looking it up, hobgoblins right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had to look it up, and I had to look up hobgoblin mythology, because Wikipedia, I'm sorry, that's a really bad source, I know, but, like, I couldn't find anything. It kept, like, saying, like, little tidbits, and then, like, if I, like, just Googled hobgoblin, it'd give me, like, the Spider-Man villain hobgoblin. You know?
Yeah, that's always the problem in this case.
But, so apparently they are actually seen as harmful, but in some respects they're seen as friendly. So that can coincide with the whole, like, it looks like, you know, he's doing something good by giving the luck, and then, like, not by, you know. So it's like, maybe it's like a mix of the two kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. It is still a bit of a long shot, I suppose, but
I mean,
could be what they were going for.
Oh, and also they talk about oh, okay, here's something that actually makes sense. Okay, so in German legends, the hobgoblin is more malevolent, and they harass people, leading them down to the wrong path or to terrorize them.
That could be much closer to what we're looking for with the
right?
correlation, because anyway, we'll get to that when we get to the second episode we're going to be talking about, with the correlation with that. But like I said, he has a really weird kind of fighting style in that he moves really slow but really fast, and that might have a little bit of something to do with his luck powers, and that he is still moving really slow, but his ability to change the luck around him is making it so attacks don't hit him very often, but his attacks hit way more often.
To be honest, I didn't know what he was. I thought he was some sort of a plant creature.
Oh, because yeah, he looks a lot like a plant. And
for some reason, I don't even know. I think it's a real plant, but I think there's like a mythological plant associated is a mandrake. I thought he was like a mandrake for some reason. I didn't even look it up. I just assumed it was some sort of mandrake. I don't know why I thought that though. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like
I know what you could. Yeah, but it was like some of the designs like really make sense for what they're supposed to be, and some just really don't. It just really don't.
Yeah, like what was the freaking? There's a couple of them. The Hydra, I think. Remember?
Yeah, the Hydra one.
Yeah, that one made no sense.
The one from next week makes like perfect sense, but we'll get to that when we get to that too. But
yeah.
Anyways, because they're having such a hard time with Hobgoblin as he is, Haruto switches into infinity form and uses his shining slash to finish him off. Though weird green clouds of awfulness pop out of the explosion that he makes and go into the gates for some reason. Gremlin pops out of nowhere and says it's time for Hobgoblin's real job, and then skips away like nothing even happened, so that's probably not a good sign. Tsuchi thanks Nito for everything and gives him a reddish pink guitar pick necklace thing, and says that it's a symbol of their friendship, and decides to leave Tokyo to stay safe. I thought this episode was really good, as it was. I thought it was a really funny episode. It had a lot of really good comedy bits to it, because it had a lot of it had a lot of bits where the characters just kind of got to be goofy with each other, and when it comes to its humor, even if some bits in Wizard are sometimes a little lacking, it does really good when it comes to actually funny things, and when it has to do funny things. And it really showed in this episode.
I really like the beginning part with Nito and like the barbecue.
Yeah,
and he's like no, and then it just like explodes in his face.
Well, no, it flew onto the grill and he was like, no, and then it lands and nothing happens for a few seconds, so he's like, oh, I thought it was gonna explode. And just, it all blows up in his face. And
I like that whole thing. It was I like it. I agree. I like the whole part where it's like, oh, nothing happened. That was a close, and then it just explodes automatically. I like kind of the delayed reaction all of a sudden.
That and the whole scene where Haruto was shrunken down and had a Mickey Mouse voice for some reason.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part.
Like, a lot of the humor in these episodes were really goofy and slapsticky, and this was a good episode to start off the silly arc. So, do you have anything else to say about this episode?
Also, I think the Mickey Mouse voice, wasn't that in the second one, or is it in this one that we just talked about?
No, it was this one.
Or was this one? Okay, because that was probably my favorite part of that episode, is like the whole like Mickey Mouse Haruto kind of thing. I don't know. I thought that was a nice surprise. I think it gets a little bit more serious in the next one, right?
It does, but it's still pretty much in that same state of, it's a silly arc. We're gonna still be pretty silly.
It's not as serious as it could have been, but yeah.
Anyways, let's go on to episode 33. While Sushi is... I'm so bad at this. While Sushi is trying to leave...
I keep saying sushi.
Yeah. While he's trying to leave Tokyo, he stops to get some gas. When a ticket for free gas is literally right under his nose. Unfortunately, it's only for the Tokyo area, so he decides to go back for the sake of, well, goddamn, it's free gas. Gotta have your free stuff in this economy.
Wait, there's free gas? I completely missed that part in that episode.
Yeah, that was the whole thing that brought him back in the first place. Like, the ticket that he found was for free gas, so he wanted to go back.
Oh, that's right, okay.
But this is really not what Nito wanted to see, because Nito came and found him while he was doing his runs trying to find more phantoms to eat. He tries to reconvince Sushi to leave again when a lottery ticket falls from the sky right into his hair. And Sushi convinces Nito to go with him to the lottery drawing, and when they play the spinner, he wins the big cash draw that was going on there at the time.
You think they think this was kind of suspicious?
Well,
like lottery, like
we've been we already kind of know that they're both a little bit gullible at this point. And Tsushi, especially, has been super gullible. So they probably just think that nothing is all that wrong about what's going on at the moment.
I know. You'd think if you were like around like 20, in your 20s, like even if it's early 20s, that you'd find something suspicious about this. But then again, I guess like they're not the brightest crayons in the box here.
Yeah, But
Especially Nito. I mean, I love Nito to death, but
he's a big dummy.
he's
But we
a
love
big
him
dummy.
being a big dummy.
Yeah.
It's like half of his appeal.
That's very true. Him being a dummy is an appeal, and I think Haruto's supposed to be like the more composed, smarter one.
Yeah, Haruto's the straight man in the situation, while Nito is much more of the foil. At the same time, speaking of Haruto, he noticed, Haruto rather, notices one of the gates from before is still walking around Tokyo himself, and he goes to check it out. It seems he and all the other gates, have had insanely good luck streaks ever since the incident, and it's been making them want to stay in Tokyo much longer. Meanwhile, Susie is running into more and more money, and he gets so rich that he gets to the point that he goes to the guitar shop from the Capricorn arc of Forze and just buys everything.
I did not realize that until you said that. It is totally the same shop.
Yeah, he just goes to the same shop from Forze and buys everything. It's I'd like to.
Mind. I'm sorry. That's really dumb of me, but
I'd like to believe that it was actually definitely the same shop. Like it wasn't even just a different one that they used the same setting for.
No, I'm pretty sure. I want to believe it is too, because remember they are in the same world, and remember Forze is secluded only to the school.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm going to just believe that he literally buys up the shop from the Forze episodes. That's great. Haruto and Shunpei try and take the gate that they found out of Tokyo, only to have all of his luck suddenly taken from him and almost get him killed in the process of trying to get him out. Haruto, using the light ring, which we haven't seen him actually use in forever. He only used it like one time before, I think. And that was for the Hellhound Phantom when we first met Shunpei. Like, he uses that and sees that there's a ghost of Hobgoblin just kind of hanging around the gate and fixing his luck to make him want to stay in Tokyo. Now, this goes back to what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, where, Hobgoblin's whole ability is to die, stick to people, and start affecting their luck one way or another. And it's a pretty interesting plan, because Gremlin must have known this was going to happen altogether the whole time. And to basically stall the gates from leaving Tokyo, he made their lives in Tokyo a living heaven while making them outside of that a living hell. It's pretty.
It's more of a like like when good things happen, like bad things are going to happen in the future, kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
like when all that good stuff happens, like you're bound to have something bad.
Definitely, I understand what you're saying from all that. It's kind of a weird karma situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to look like it's karma or something, but it's just manipulation.
Yeah. Haruto, being swift to act, kicks Hobby off of the gate and tries to fight him, but because of his sudden luck-based powers, he makes Haruto fall all over himself before he's able to actually finish him off. And it was great because he first makes Haruto slip on a banana peel and then slip on one of those weird carrying cart things.
You make him, like, trip on it, right?
Yeah. And then, like, land inside a, shopping cart, ride all the way over to a trash bin, and get his head stuck inside of it. It was really ridiculous. But Haruto, after finishing off the one Hobgoblin clone, uses the Dragger Timer for the first time in a little while, and splits up to search for the other gates. Now this is pretty cool because I had actually been talking to a few people, and they were wondering what exactly was the use of the Dragger Timer at this point, because, well, he has Infinity Form, and Infinity Form is definitely stronger than pretty much all the other forms that he has combined at this point. In fact, he's so much stronger that up to this point in the series, Infinity Form hasn't really been hit at all. Like, it's been hit, but it hasn't really done anything at all. So this is a good way of making Dragger Timer still pretty relevant by making it a split up and do the thing that would require multiple people to do kind of thing. So that's one thing that I thought was pretty cool out of this episode. There's a lot more, but that was one thing in particular.
I liked all the like you said, he uses the Draco Timer, and all like they're all like struggling.
Yeah, they're all struggling against the different hobgoblins that are all over the place. Because he's affecting their luck and basically getting them all stuck in a certain position. But I thought it was all funny because, like, the land dragon Haruto got his arm stretched all out because he used extend, and
he got all like tangled up, like one of those, like when you have like the earbuds for music and then they get all tangled in your pocket, kind of like that.
Which I thought was kind of weird because when you think about it, he never really like uses a lot of these much, but a lot of these rings a whole lot of time. He doesn't use extend a whole lot, at least.
Yeah, I haven't seen him use a lot of the other stuff, but yeah.
But at least for the extend part, I thought he would have known better to not fall for the same trick that everyone with stretchable limbs has fallen for at least once.
In like every single like stretchable limbs type of like show or whatever. Well, you know what I'm talking about, show.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think like if you see like a bunch of pegs everywhere, like you know, lined up, like all spread out, like, and you're following through them, it's like
it's gonna happen.
Stuff. You don't think this was the plan all along?
But anyways, meanwhile, while Haruto's fighting all of these guys, Nito and Tsuchi are having a kind of verbal fight at the moment, and because of it, Tsuchi is perfectly sure that that Nito, I'm really mixed up today, that Nito wants all the luck that he has now for himself, and after a bit of a scuffle that they have, tells Nito to get out of his sight before running out of the restaurant that they're in. Nito runs after him only to find that he's hired a bunch of thugs to beat him up and like try and convince Nito to stay away from him. And after they do beat him up a little bit, Tsuchi says that they aren't friends anymore, and then walks off with the thugs. Presumably to buy a car? Because later we do see him in a car, with the thugs, I guess. Nito watches them walk away, and swears to save, Tsuchi because he's just not gonna let his friend get all messed up because of the Phantom. Anyways, Tsuchi, now with the car that he's just bought, I guess, is riding with the thugs only to almost run into a baby in a carriage and, its mom. And, swerving out of the way, totaling the car, and getting himself stuck inside the driver's seat, rather. The thugs make it out, but as there's a gas leak in the car, and also an open spark, probably going to light up the gas any minute, they run away, leaving Nito to come and save him, because, well, they're only hired to beat up Nito in the first place. They're not going to try and give up their life to save some guy that they barely know.
I thought it was, weird because, you know how, like, they're not supposed to kill Gates, they're supposed to, like, despair them, and then, like, the Phantom in them kills them?
Yeah.
Like, he just, like, gave him bad luck, but, like, a couple times the Gates were, like, about to die if, like, Haruto and Nito weren't there. So, like, was he trying, like, I don't know. I thought that was, like, really, like, why? I mean, like, there are other ways to give them bad luck than, like, about almost killing them, and if they would have died, then that would have been, like, a wasted gate.
That's a very good point, actually. But I feel like it's mostly a thing because, I think one way that we could explain it is that, once Hobgoblin is on a person, he doesn't so much control what happens to them, but just their luck in general. And the closer they are to Tokyo, the more luck they have, and the further away they are, the worse and more life-threatening their luck becomes.
Yeah, I guess it's just, like, kind of weird because, I don't know, like, that one guy, remember the pipes were gonna fall him, and obviously he was not gonna live through that.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like,
yeah.
he doesn't control what kind of things will happen to them. If it's life-threatening, then that's just kind of up to weird fate to control. But he can't really get to control that part of it.
Yeah. You'd think, like, Medusa or, like, Gremlin would oversee that, or Wiseman would make him.
It's never really explained all that much, but it is a pretty weird thing, but in the end, maybe, he is able to control the whole thing, and the Gates are only able to be saved because he is, like, turning the luck back to make it so they are able to be saved at all. Like,
Yeah.
just in time to be able to save them, I guess. But having them in danger just enough to scare them want to stay in Tokyo. That
Yeah,
could be one. That could be one explanation.
They really do not, like, explain some of the, like, the Phantom powers. Like, we just have to, like, it's like us guessing. We're like, I don't fucking know.
I'm fine with that. I'm all good with theorizing all the things that could and could not actually be a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways. While Nito shows up and saves Tsuchi, Tsuchi realizes how much of a huge dick he's been, and lets Nito save him from the one hobgoblin clone and everything. And at the exact same time, Haruto, while struggling to grab the kick strike ring that he has on all four sides of the things that he's been doing, finally does grab it by pulling off the whole ring belt that to begin with, just grabbing the one ring that he needs and hitting Hobgoblin out of the way and doing a quad kick strike mixed with the Jago timer powers and everything, and finishes off 4 of the copies while Nito, using the power of friendship, shoots the shit out of the last Hobgoblin clone and eats him up. After a long fight, he sits down with Suchi and they start screaming about how they can't buy friendship, and from now on they're going to be better people in general. And it does really end on a really sweet note. And, you know, in thinking about it, Suchi doesn't come out of this too out of luck. I mean, he still has bought the whole, shop, the whole guitar shop to begin with. And he probably still has all the money that he had before, unless he kept it on his person, which he probably didn't. So he's probably still got a ton of money. He's probably set for a while.
I think he'll be fine. Even then, I don't know. I thought he, I don't know how to feel about this arc, because I think he's, kind of a bad friend.
He is, but I think
and I don't know if it's, I don't, when I leave from this arc, I'm not sure, I leave from it oh, they're, good buddies, blah, blah. I kind of feel like it's still kind of superficial. I don't know if I was supposed to, leave, a feeling of, oh yeah, everything's all good now. I just still feel like he hasn't really changed. I don't know. The only reason why he's, like that to Nito is because he obviously, saved his life. I don't know.
It might be that, he might not have changed very much by the end of it, but he might have also, come to the conclusion that the way that he was handling pretty much everything was really shitty. And,
yeah. Well, I wouldn't feel the sense of, if it weren't for, the first part, because remember how, Nito saved his life in the first part, or, Haruto did, and then he was grateful, they were both, coming to their rescue, and, and caring, and then he was you know what, money isn't, blah, 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 blah. But then, the same shit happens, and even worse, and, it's really, what the fuck?
Well,
so I'm, really skeptical of that guy's friendship, because, it pretty much, he got his life saved again, and then he's oh, my bad, again. I'm totally changed now, so I'm a little, what, I mean, it ended good, whatever, but I'm just, kind of skeptical.
I can see why you would be, and, sometimes there's just people like that in the whole world, where, they'll sort of learn a thing, but they won't, take a lot from it, and will...
I think the one thing that really bothers me is, after that, they're oh yeah, you're my best friend, Nito, and he's yeah, you too, and I'm I feel bad for Nito, because he's, best friend with this guy who, might have not changed, and it's just, oh, you're my best friend because you saved me for the second time. I don't know. That's how it kind of gave me, a bad taste in my mouth. But, I mean, it was a good episode. It was entertaining and stuff like that. The whole friendship thing was just kind of, very... very weak, because I didn't get a sense of it's a good friendship, and I feel bad because Nito was a nice guy. And, I don't know.
I can see where you're coming from with that. It definitely had that same kind of effect on me in a few ways, in that it felt like it could have been a lot more than it was, and it seemed like it was weird that it had went from a pretty sweet ending at the end of the first one, and I kind of wish that it did end with the first.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was really content with the first part, and then this, like, after, like, the second part where they're, like, it's supposed to be touching, it feels a lot less touching, and more like, I really don't really believe you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this time. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I did kind of have the same feeling from the whole, the second part of the arc and everything, but at the same time, as it stands, it was still a pretty good, entertaining episode as it was.
Yeah,
and,
no, for sure.
To have a plan that the villains have set up be as good as this one was, because it honestly was really good.
I mean, yeah, I definitely like the villains, like, the whole villain plan of it was good, like, you know, oh, he's not really dead, and, you know, it's all, like a front, you know, and, like, the plan was good, but, like, just the character, you know, relationships, so.
Yeah.
My only beef.
There was something that I was actually going to bring up with this episode, and I can't remember what it was now. But it was around the end of this episode. Oh, right. It seems like even if Nito gets a 1 on his dice saber thing, he can power it up by growling, I guess. 'Cause, like, he got a 1 like he used the Falcon mantle and got a 1, and because of his friendship with Tsuchi, it was like he growled and it got huge and did a huge attack on Hobgoblin.
Yeah,
so I thought that was
cool.
pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I really hope that's like a thing where he can power it up by by emotions, I guess, or something. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was really cool because it was funny because it coincided with the bad luck kind of thing, because like it's like a dice, you know.
Yeah.
When you roll dice, it's obviously luck based, and like obviously the thing is bad luck. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, here's a 1, and he's like, oh, fuck. But like he made that to his advantage, and like, yeah. Did he growl? Was the growling that made it bigger? Like, I don't understand.
I'm really not sure, but I feel like he did have to growl to make it get way bigger and everything like it did. So it might be partly whole friendship thing, and it might be partly willpower that made it stronger. So who knows? Maybe in the end, Nito is just a spiral and is able to use willpower to get stronger. Who knows? That's a Gurren Lagann reference. Hey, yeah. But I felt like the whole arc, while it was pretty flawed in some parts, was still really fun to watch. And it was definitely a really funny set of episodes when it was being funny. Because, again, like I said before, I feel like where Wizard might be kind of weak in some places, when it's funny, it's very funny.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you, because I thought all the comedy parts were really good, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
Like the school thing, I was dying, and then the Haruto Mickey Mouse voice. I don't know. I definitely like the comedy parts, and I like the idea of like it being more like a little. I'm not saying it's super dark, but a little bit darker than the previous ones with the victims being like actual dying to create phantoms.
Yeah. But I think that's just about it for these episodes.
I know. I'm excited next podcast to talk about the next set of episodes because I have a lot to say on that. Let me tell you, and I'm pretty sure you do too.
Oh yes, there's a fucking lot to say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's two things that I want to talk about before we get going. First of all, let's talk about the White Wizard's driver is out right now. I figure we might as well talk about it because it's pretty much the only bit of real kind of important rider and tokusatsu news recently. Everything else is like Battle Ride War. There's a new Ultraman coming out, so that's a thing.
Ginga? Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
But other than that, the only other thing that's really going on tokusatsu related, and it's only sort of tokusatsu related, is that the whole Power Rangers Super Mega Force has been doing really badly in that barely anyone is getting invited or taking the invites for one reason or another. And that's...
I know, I'm not a big Power Rangers fan, but I kind of feel bad for the people who are into it, I guess.
Oh, I'm not really into it much anymore either, for a lot of reasons.
Last time I was into it was like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Last show that I watched was like
I watched
Ninja
the
Storm.
Yeah, I watched that one too, but it was like a little bit, and I wasn't like super into it, but it was okay.
It was a pretty good show. It was a really good goofy show, which was what it was going for. So,
but still, I was not like into Power Rangers really.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I feel really bad too because, dang, Saban is fucking up.
Saban is never good.
But the one thing that I do want to talk about at length is the White Wizard's belt, which is so far pretty interesting because while the actual effect sounds for the rings that you can use for it are different. Well, no, they're not different, rather. What they are called are different in that you can use every other ring that is out at the moment and will come out in the future for the normal wizard driver, and it will have a different name for the power.
Oh,
but
that's interesting.
like the actual sound will be the same, but all the things are different in that, like, bind has been turned into chain. The kick strike, when you try and do kick strike, it says, yes, kick strike, understand?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
When he transforms, the ring that he uses says change, kind of like Chalice in a way, because his said change too. And what else? He can use all of Wizard's form rings, but they've changed to like Volcano, Hydro, Horizon for land. Just a lot of them have changed to be different things altogether. But if he does kick strike after using one of the form rings, it does do like the elemental damage. So I guess he does kind of change forms with it, but not entirely. I'm really not sure how well it's going to work out in the show if it does ever happen, but I feel like the belt is kind of hinting that it will.
Yeah.
And
is that it for news, I guess?
The only other one that I wanted to talk about, and it's not so much news as much as it is a thing that I do want to do pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about doing the Forza movie a little while back.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But it's been so long since then that it may not be that good of a thing to do, at least not right away, I suppose. But Ultimatum came out. The Raws for Ultimatum came out just the other day. So I'm thinking that as soon as the Raws get subbed, we should maybe, possibly, do a podcast on that, on the movie.
Do you mean like watch it and then review it, or like do you want to like stream it and then talk about it while it's going on?
Watch it and review it, because I'm probably going to stream it myself and doing a Space Theater 3000 kind of thing. Probably wouldn't work out that well for us, maybe, possibly. So
we can always do that with a Decade movie.
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, we should since Decade is bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
JK, if you like Decade, that's fine. I have a lot of things that I do not like about Decade.
It's not fine with me. If you like Decade, I'm judging you a lot. But
I think they're the only. A lot of people don't like the core movie either, the war core movie. So we can always talk about that one, like Mystery Science Theater. That one.
I should have said mystery.
Like
I said
the
space.
only good part is the double part. I guess we can oh yeah, this one's good, but then the rest is pretty bad.
It'd be kind of hard to say because the problem with moviecore is that it's not even bad. It's just a lot of it is boring. It's just kind of boring and not really creative, and then the Skull one was really great, but everything else was just kind of eh.
I don't know. Okay, so I know a lot of people hate it, and especially my best friend, he thinks that's the one of the worst movies, and you know what? I don't blame him because I think the O part is really, really, really bad.
It's super lame.
Yeah, it's super bad, and I hate it too, but I really enjoyed, obviously, the Skull part is good. And I liked the team up, if that makes any sense. I thought the team ups were I watched the team ups of Double and O, and I was this is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Kamen Rider's retarded, but I like the team up, if that makes any sense. I want to see Double and O team up. I like those two writers.
I agree, and I feel the I feel the last two parts of the movie, the Skull part and the actual final battle, were pretty good. The final battle less good than Skull, but
yeah, for sure.
The O's part was super lame and really weird.
That was just what were you thinking?
It was weirder, and it was even weirder in that just why were there purple yummies there? Why?
Yeah, who was that made no sense because that was not Dr. Maki thing yet.
Yeah, and it was it felt like they had the costumes pre-made and didn't have a costume set made for the movie, so they just used the pterodactyl ones.
Yeah. The weird thing is it's supposed to be canon, I think, but it fits nowhere into continuity, like, at all. And I'm just like, what?
It's supposed to be canon, but, like, it's only... I feel like it's only half canon.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Wonderful. Like, Wonderful was okay, but, like, I don't know when that fits in the canon. Like,
I actually really liked Wonderful a lot.
I mean, I did, but, like, it doesn't, like, if you look back at it, I can't find where it fits into canon. Maybe it's just me, but, like there was no way that fit into canon, but it's supposed to be canon.
It's not... I felt like it, even if it was, not... Even if it didn't fit into canon, it felt like it wasn't really trying to, like a lot of the other movies were. Like, there wasn't a set time where it was specifically supposed to be happening, and it never was brought up in the show, and it was never brought up all that often afterwards, so it didn't really matter much.
Yeah, well, because, like, the thing is with, like, even the double movies have really good continuity. Like, the only, like, one mess-up was the part in... I can't remember which movie it was, but the one with the decade. Yeah. You know, the decade movie?
Yeah,
the only mess up was that Wakana had her clay doll memory when she dropped it in the previous episode. And that was, like, the only, like, actual mess up. Other than that, it fit into continuity pretty well. But, like, the O's movies, like Wonderful, like, went, like, there were no part where all the Greed were, like, okay with each other while... like Maki, like, he had the purple memories, you know, and like it was just like, what? When did this? I don't understand.
I really don't know. I feel like it was supposed to happen at a point where they weren't so much all okay with each other as much as they just didn't want to all die because of this Overlord King guy just deciding that, yeah, let's end the world, but end it in a different way than these guys want to end the world. So I feel like they were mostly working together so that they didn't have to deal with this person that was going to do the same thing they were going to do, but in a different way than they wanted them to do it in. I don't know. The movie was also pretty flawed, but it wasn't as bad as, like, some people give it the discredit of being.
Alright, so I think we covered everything, and then we went on a tangent on some movies.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's what we do around here.
We really go on with these random tangents, but yeah.
But yes, that will do it for this episode of the podcast, I believe.
When are we gonna do the next set?
Hopefully next week? I hope for next week. If it's not next week, then I am very sorry, you guys, but I'm going to try very hard for next week.
Alright, let's work on that then.
Yeah. But, with that, we end this episode. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything at all to ask from us, then just put it onto our Tumblr. We'll have the link under everything that this will have. And also, if you would like to show up for the streams live like this is at the moment, then just come in on Thursdays, or at least look out for things on Thursdays around the afternoon in the Eastern side of things, and that'll be that. Like, you'll
I can't believe you're gonna live stream these all the time.
Yes, I do it all the time. But that's only because I need to be live streaming them to record them. But that's it. Thank you for watching and listening to us and everything. Have a good night and everything. Bye.
Bye.